Hi guys, Jay Nice on the mic. I missed you guys. It's been a little while, but I wanted to get these videos out because there are so many topics that I wanted to talk with you guys about. So the first thing is this article, this research study that's been floating around the internet. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Last week, I think, is when it came out. And the study basically looked at black boys, black girls, white boys, and white girls. And basically, the study looked at what role wealth played in adults. So, what role childhood wealth played in success and wealth as an adult. And so, one of the major findings of the study was that black boys, even black boys who come from affluent families, have such a small likelihood of being wealthy when they become adults. A lot of people were talking about the study. I saw a lot of commentary about it on social media, but an interesting finding of the study was that for black females, this effect was not really pronounced. So black females who grew up in, young black females who grew up in affluent families could still maintain their affluence, or didn't have as many barriers to becoming affluent when they became adults. So it was really just black boys. Even if you come from a wealthy family, an affluent family, and have a bunch of resources, you have still such a huge likelihood of going into poverty when you become an adult. So I wanted to really speak on this article, my thoughts, and how I feel like the article is basically propaganda. I'm not saying that I don't feel the article was true, because if you read the study, and I'll leave a link to the study below in case you guys are interested in checking it out, but if you read the study, it looks like a pretty well-founded study. And any of you guys out there watching who know anything about research know that the study was reputable and it seems like a very sound study. However, I don't like perpetuating this narrative that instills in black people this idea of learned helplessness. Ironically, the day that I saw the article is the day that I started reading this book called Learned Happiness or something along those lines, and I should have brought it upstairs. But the day that I read this study about the black and white boys and girls is the same day I started reading this book. And in this book, one of the things that the book really harped on was the fact that happiness, or rather the opposite of happiness, feeling sad and hopeless, one of the causes of feeling sadness and hopelessness is this idea that you are helpless. Is this idea that no matter how many resources you have, how educated you are, you will still not be able to transcend your reality. And I think that this research study, although it was very informative and enlightening, I think this study and many studies similar to it are teaching black people to adopt this learned helplessness. I don't like this idea that no matter what, the likelihood of you transcending your circumstances, and not even transcending, the likelihood of you being affluent and being wealthy if you came from a wealthy black family as a young black boy is slim. And I don't like this idea, because this idea sort of, like I said, perpetuates this myth that we are not able to transcend our circumstances. And I'm a huge believer in the fact that if you put your mind to something, you can do anything. And I'm not trying to sound cliche and trying to sound corny and trying to sound like little engine that could-ish, but I truly, honestly believe that. I don't feel like articles like this spark a healthy and positive and productive dialogue, because I feel like this article and these studies just teach us to be helpless and to feel helpless. A similar phenomenon took place in South Africa during the apartheid. Many people wondered, why is it that even though the black South Africans greatly outnumbered the white South Africans, that they were still treated the way that they were by the white South Africans. And a large part of the reason is because the black South Africans had adopted this idea or this myth that they were helpless, and that no matter what they did and how many resources they could accumulate, they were not able to transcend their circumstances. This is the same mindset that a lot of black people have who are living in inner cities and lower income neighborhoods, is this idea that the ghettos and the hoods and the neighborhoods that they come from are not able to be transcended unless you want to become a musician or an athlete. And that's absolutely false. The best way to transcend your circumstances is through an education, and it's through educating yourself. Not necessarily through college, but taking up a trade, making yourself knowledgeable on different things, different skills. So I don't like this idea and the story that's being perpetuated, and I think that it's a tool of control, and that it's a very effective way to control people, keep people down, keep people complacent, and to really keep people in place and not fighting for their rights and not fighting to better themselves. Think about it. If you feel like no matter what you do, for example, if you feel like no matter what you do, one particular individual is not going to side with you about something, at some point you're going to stop trying. If you're trying to convince someone of something and they're very adamant in their stance, at some point you're going to throw your hands up and be very laissez-faire, and you're going to be like, I'm not going to continue to try. The best way to control a group of people is to instill this belief in them that they're not able to transcend their circumstances. So like I said, I appreciate the research that's being done. I don't really feel like it's productive, and it gives us as black people a sense of hope. It almost makes us feel, like I said, ultimately helpless, and like we cannot do anything to transcend our circumstances. So like I said, if you guys are interested in reading the article, a link to the research study is below. Please let me know what you think and whether you feel like this article is helpful or is more hurtful. I will see you guys in the next video.